Alright, zaunstar. Um, so you don't completely discredit me. You told me to Google the information that I'm talking about, right? Um, this is a little bit better than Google. Okay? This is my textbook for Psychology 235, Human Growth and Development. Okay? Um, just so you can reference it, it's by Jane Belsky. It's the second edition, and well, I said Jane Belsky is the author. Alright. So, yeah, that was my sister. Alright, so, I guess what what I want to say to you is this, is that as a blastocyst, the baby, or, embryo or fetus, as people like to say, so they don't have to refer to it as a baby, um, yeah, it's fertilized. When the egg's fertilized, it's fertilized through 23 chromosomes from the father and 23 from the mother. Okay. Now, as a blastocyst, it has all 46 chromosomes because, in other words, it couldn't have been a blastocyst, sorry, unless the egg was already fertilized. So at that point, it already has its 46 chromosomes. Um, Hold on for 1 second. Okay. As a blastocyst, it already has its 46 chromosomes. Now, the rest of the birthing process, I'm not going to go into because I don't really feel like it's relevant to the situation or the discussion that we're having here. Which this should be definitely like posted on your abortion video because you have one of those too. I've seen it. Now, in reference to that video, yes, I am a believer in creationism, but I don't have a pro-life view because I believe in God, okay? And I don't have a pro-life view because the Bible tells me to. I have a pro-life view, number one, through one of the handouts that I have. I'm actually part of an organization called Live Action. I'm pretty sure you've heard of us. Through one of the papers and stuff that I've used to reference and relate my views to when I hand to people. One of the people actually lived, or not lived, but she lived near Planned Parenthood. I think she also worked there. She did work there too. Um, Found it kind of funny that they're denying that the baby is a baby, a human life, but what most people don't know is at the end of an abortion, they have to issue you a death certificate. So if they're issuing a death certificate, what must that mean the baby was before the abortion was committed? Okay, it's just a question for you guys to think on. Now I know you're going to say that I'm the typical creationist that asks questions rather than gives answers. Well, that question, I think the answer is pretty clear too. I don't believe I'm the smartest person in the world, but I do believe I'm fairly educated. So back to evolution. I followed what Dr. Ken Hovind did, okay, and I picked up just a random physics book. Now, I can't say that like I said, I do support evolution to a degree, but um, I only go as far as supporting microevolution. Now that goes back to the microbiology, biology, embryology, psychology, sociology, even um, about evolution, which I wouldn't really say sociology so much. I would more or less go to either psychology, depending on what aspect of it, or embryology, and even biology, um, to get the answers that you would want. Now, there's a lot of information that conflict both sides, so I'm not gonna dog on you for your views, but there's also a lot of evolution that support, or a lot of theories that support us too. Now, just by showing how it's not possible that we could have had 48 chromosomes and two fused together, doesn't really doesn't disprove or doesn't prove the existence of a god or a deity, as you might say. Um, and it doesn't disprove evolution. Okay, the fact is on evolution is you can't disprove it. Okay, it's plenty of evidence. You can't not say that it doesn't happen. All right, now I'm not now supportive. Like, let's talk about the Big Bang. Okay, so out of nothing something came. Okay, so out of the thin air everything just exploded, and that's how we came here. Okay, no, I don't think so. Now, what I wanted to say was the reason why I don't believe in evolution is because of the law of circular momentum. Okay, and I'm pretty sure you seem to be somebody that knows about Kent Hovind, so you probably know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that don't, um, the law of circular momentum simply states that, let's just say you're on a merry-go-round and you fall off the merry-go-round. Okay, your body's going to continue to fall at the same speed in the same direction. Okay, in the same direction as the object that you fell off of. Okay, but there's 6 planets and 2 moons that are spinning in the opposite direction. And zaunstar, I do think that you made a video about this, but I don't really think that you went into very many details. So if you do accept this video debate, I would like to discuss that with you. Even more so, like that you have the clusters of different galaxies of stars and stuff. Now, gravity, okay, pulls with equal force on everything. That's why you could be me falling off a building, with a feather, and we're falling off at the same speed. Okay. Um, so what I wanted, sorry, my screen just blacked out for a minute. So what I wanted to, I guess, what I wanted to ask you was, is that I'm not going to ask your opinion on primordial soup because I already know that. Huh? What I wanted to know was if Big Bang was true, and I'm not for sure if you're a supporter of this, but you're an educated person, I can already tell. If the Big Bang theory was true, then how come there's not equal matter distribution? I mean, um, I do realize that it's not exactly as Hovind put it. Okay, if a bomb goes off, it's not 100% equal force on everything, because as the bomb is exploding, the particles that are getting farther and farther away from it are going to start to slow down. So it's not going to be like um, you're you're like the particles that are already having exploded. Like, let's just say you watch a bomb explode and you see the smoke. Okay, the particles that are farthest away from the explosion that are coming from it are naturally going to slow down. It may not be that much, but they're not going to be as much as the particles that were directly right there under the force. So I can't say there would be 100% equal distribution throughout space. I mean, I'm a believer in God, and I think that He put things how He wanted it to. But from a scientific point, or just from a common sense point, you've got to know that even like on the outside, there might be a little bit more clusters of particles, or as we're talking about the universe, as we're talking about stars and planets and stuff, there might not be as much of a separation as there would be at places that are closer to maybe the origin of where they think the universe started, or where exactly the pinpoint location of the Big Bang was. But still, it's nowhere close to what it would be, even if that happened. I mean, I can't think of any particular point in the galaxy, and I just taken an astronomy class over the summer, and I can't think of any particular. Oh, let's hold on for 1 second. I can't think of any particular point in astronomy class where we had learned about any area that had a greater or less amount of galaxies, which I'm gonna have to look into. And I will look into any information fairly. But let me pseudoscience. We're gonna include pseudoscience here for a second. I did do a lot of what you call ghost hunting. Okay, most people think I'm crazy, but I did come across a lot of things. And even if the Judeo-Christian God isn't the right God, which I believe he is, there definitely is some type of something out there. The reasoning why is a lot of people might say, "Oh, it's just you just were hearing things, or people were talking, or something like that." But I did a few investigations to where I myself actually wasn't even like in a room with other people where other people could hear me or anything, and where other people could like hear me or anything, and there was just things coming across like Beelzebub, which is the biblical translation for Satan or one of his princes. We're not quite sure, but that's just my point. But ghost hunting is a pseudoscience. We really can't go by that. But I do know one of my major things going on, which I've asked plenty of instructors and gotten a lot of grief for, is if the world, was just here by evolution. Okay. Now, even evolutionists or science will support or agree that the world is in layers. You know, there's the core, the mantle, and the crust. Okay. Now, my argument for this is, and this is not a 100% will disprove evolution argument, but this is just something to be asked, and maybe you might have the answer for me. Um, if the world is not, if you don't believe in creationism, okay, what I want to know is there's even in science where it says, like I said, the layers of the earth, that even supports creationism. If you think of Noah's Ark, okay, if you think of a bottle and you put some dirt in it and a rock and some oil and a water and you shook it all up and then you go back in 10 minutes, it's not a suspension anymore now. Now it's it's back to being a like the different layers. It's no longer a suspension. Like I'm an EMT, we have to give activated charcoal for people to poison themselves because it wraps around the poison molecule and makes you nauseous, so you throw it up. But in a case like that, the bottle would no longer have a suspension in it. Now everything will be settled. Okay, and if you think about it, um, that's sort of how we could go today with how we could think about the layering of the earth. So if you could disprove that for me, I'd be greatly willing to look at any information you might have. Now this is gonna be a little challenging because I'm still a student, so I don't have my degree yet, and you have a master's degree. I just ask that you don't look at what you already have as opposed to what I'm obtaining because I'm going for my master's too. Um, as opposed to what I'm obtaining and think that just because you have a higher education than I do at the moment that you're just going to discredit my answers because my answers I hate when people do this. I hate when people say, oh, this and this and this and this and don't have any evidence for it. But the evidence for what I'm talking about, if you would like to go, I believe, on Amazon.com or Google and obtain this book, okay, again, called Experiencing the Lifespan. There you go. So you can read everything there. That says worth. That top says Belsky. It was written by Jane Belsky, or Janet Belsky, sorry. I always call her Jane, I don't know why. Okay? That would be the textbook that I'm obtaining. If you want the ISBN number or whatever it is, I'm going to have to get that for you tomorrow, but I will give you the information.